I hope you are good. Welcome back to the Lead Her podcast. And today I want to share something with you that I've been doing since February. It's something that I've spoke to a few friends about, and they've also been like, oh my God, I did not know that would be something that they can do. It's really helped them. So I thought, you know what, it might help you guys too, if you don't know about it. But it also really relates into one of our top listened to episodes last year called Lean In. And I kind of based it on one of my favourite books called Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, who is the CEO or was the CEO of Facebook back in the day. And she really kind of brought up the conversation about motherhood and career. And also on that episode, I kind of shared my experience and like where I am in my life right now, and how heavy the decision felt. But also sharing that episode last year, I was a little bit scared to share it, and it ended up being something that really benefited you guys, and it really opened my eyes that the importance again of this podcast is having these kind of conversations so people don't feel alone. So yeah, I thought this is the next step for me, so I thought it could be the next step for some of you guys. But I also just want to state before I continue is that everybody's situation is different. I know some of you might be trying to have children right now. I know some of you might be going through IVF. I know some of you might have not want to have kids. I know some of you might already have kids. You might be exploring if you're going to have more, or you might not be having any. So everyone's situation is different. And I'm just really kind of just expressing where I am in my journey right now, in case it is of interest to anyone else who feels in a similar situation. So I understand if this episode is not for you in any way, that's absolutely fine. But I knew with kind of coming away, I was thinking moving abroad, is that I was kind of debating the pill, and I was like, oh God, when I come away, it's going to be really hard to get contraception over here, or it's going to be different. I know I would need to get a doctor, and I just wasn't sure, and it was just something I was thinking about. And I was also kind of thinking about been on the pill for so long, never been off it. And I've had years of Joe going, just come off it, you'll be fine. And I'll be totally honest, I've never had any negative effects to being on the pill. Like, it's always worked for me, and I've always loved the control of it, and feeling really in control of my body in terms of when I want to have a period, or that I am safe in pregnancy and there isn't going to be any children. But being aware of like, right, okay, I'm coming into 35 this year on February, and I was thinking, oh God, I'm getting another year older. Like, maybe I should come off the pill as well and just see if I'm going to get a cycle, because I've had so many Lead Her members who have came off the pill, they've maybe got a period right away, or it's took 6 months, or it's not came back. So it's been in my head for a long time, and similar to that podcast as well, it's something that I'm constantly thinking about. It's crazy. And it was just heightening a little bit, and with the move, and with the amount of years on the pill as well, I was like, maybe this could be a time where I maybe come off it, but I was also very reluctant to do that. So I was just kind of chatting to one of my friends, and over the years I've met loads of friends that have been on like natural cycle and flow, and I've always just gone, okay, cool, that's great for them, but that's not for me. I'd listen to their conversation and be interested in it, but I just felt it was silly. I just felt, why would you do that when you can be on the pill and be 100% safe? Like, what's the point in having that risk? And I also felt a little bit like it was a bit of a push through social media, and I just felt, nope, that's not for me. That's silly. Why would people do that? But actually, when I'm in this space of life where I'm like exploring maybe motherhood and exploring coming off contraception, um, it felt like maybe the next kind of best move for me and Joe, that wasn't too scary. But also then, before I kind of made that decision, I was speaking to friends that were on it, and I started to learn that you can do that temperature every morning, and it does your temperature reading, and it tells you if you're on a red day or a green day. This is natural cycles, and the red day means you're fertile, don't have sex or use protection, and the green day means like you're good to go. You don't need contraception, basically, like condoms or whatever. So I was like, oh, that's really interesting, actually. And when she actually showed me more, I was like, that could be me still in control, but it maybe feel a little bit less scary. So I really was like, actually, I might look into this a bit more. So I went home that day, had a really look into it, and looked at like the whole ethos behind natural contraception websites and how they're all starting to be approved by governments for it being safe, and it's not bad and it's not going to cause lots of pregnancies, and that women can use their cycle in their favour so much more than I've ever realised. And I feel a little bit like I'm a woman, I should know this and not be scared of it. But I think just the way we were brought up, it was like, get on the pill, be safe. And I think maybe going into a Catholic school really scared me as well, where I was like, I don't want to get pregnant. So I think a lot of things just made me just narrow in on the pill without opening my mind to other options. But sometimes you need to have a closed mind until you're ready. You can't change someone's opinion until they're ready to explore it. So I think a number of things were happening where I was like, actually, I'm willing to maybe look into this now. I'm going to add one more thing in as well that gave me a bit of a push, was that I was feeling really exhausted in February, and I was like, I don't feel right. Like, I was training and I was sore all the time. So then I did less training. I was tired after walking Lola. I was like, Joe, there's something not right. Like, I just don't feel myself. I've dropped back my training. I'm eating more food. Um, I'm resting more, and I still feel really exhausted. Like, this is strange. So I ended up getting my bloods done, and they came back severely low on vitamin D. So that is the happy hormone in the body, which definitely can improve your rate of recovery, improve your energy, improve your mood. So that was probably a big factor of it. But another thing was just, it came back saying I've got high cholesterol. It's so funny. So you probably look at me and think, God, you've got high cholesterol. How is that possible? But actually, I'm maybe genetically disposed to it. It said from a blood test, due to the way I live my life, like, and the way I eat and how healthy I am, that it's maybe more a genetic factor than a lifestyle factor. And it really brought back memories of being a kid and going for the pill. And when I turned up to get the pill, they were like, you can't have it because your dad had a heart attack at such a young age. So he had his heart attack at like 36, 37. So we don't think it's the right thing for you. But I was like, no, I want to be on the pill. I want to be safe. I was 18, that way you feel like an adult. So I really pushed, and then finally they were like, okay, maybe it was just your dad's lifestyle because he smoked and he had a lot of curries. He had a very bad lifestyle, a lot of booze. That's why his heart attack was caused by more lifestyle focus rather than it being like any kind of hereditary kind of issues or hereditary issues that I would have had. But doing that blood test, I realised I do have like a chance of having higher cholesterol, which means higher risk for everything else. So knowing and hearing that and seeing that on my bloods and knowing how healthy I am, it brought me back to that situation. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't have went on the pill, and maybe again this is just something else that is just giving me that push to be like, come off the pill. So in February I made the call, but I was like, I don't want to be using a thermometer every day to do my temperature on this app. Getting up, waking up in the morning and straight away having to remember that is almost just as bad as having to take a pill every single day. So I explored a little bit more, and I found out you could get this thing called an Aura ring, which you might see me wearing lately on Instagram, and some of you clocked it and you're like, oh, what is that you're wearing, or why did you get an Aura ring? And I've also, there's been men that have asked me like, oh, you've got an Aura ring, why have you got that? So, and it's actually opened a conversation with men, which has been lovely. Like, I think it's so nice, like, to have like Joe and some of our friends like sit and have a conversation with me about periods without being like, oh, don't want to hear, and running out the room. It's so nice to have men that are actually intrigued by it and also kind of frowning upon it, as in like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be on contraception, and yeah, maybe there is better options, and how it is unfair women have to take a pill and it's not the men. I think so, one of the guys said to me actually, like, it's so funny that if you were going to shoot a gun, you would take the bullets out rather than trying to wear body armor. So they were saying like, yeah, it should be the men that have contraception, not the women. So I just think it's so cool to have friends like that are male and think like that too, and it's not just our female friends. So it's kind of brought up a bit more conversation. So it's called an Oura ring, and it's basically a fitness tracker. And this is what I mean by, I shared this with a few friends and they were like, what? I did not know that you could do this. So this is linked up with natural cycles. I don't know if it goes up with any other app. And again, I just want to say I am sharing this out of my own will. This is not, I've never done ads. I'm not that kind of gal. I don't even know how people do it. But I'm just sharing this from my experience and like the next steps I've took that have felt comfortable to me, thinking that it might help some of you guys. Even if you are maybe thinking of having more kids, but not right now, and you don't want to be on the pill, this could be something you explore. But it basically is a fitness tracker. So it's just like your Garmin or your Fitbit. It tracks your sleep, it tracks your temperature. So it knows where you are in your cycle, which I'll explain in a minute. It does your steps, it does your training, it does your sleep. So your HRV, it does everything. So basically, it's like a ring for athletes to track and monitor their training, but it also can be really good if like it predicts that you might be getting ill and when you should rest and when you should recover. So again, when I was feeling a little bit crap in February, it was almost like, well, maybe I could come off the pill and see if that helps, and then having this ring might help me with my energy as well, even though it was a lot more related to vitamin D. And I forgot to finish that story, but yes, I'm perfectly fine now. And having vitamin D made like all the difference. Like within 2-3 weeks of supplementing with vitamin D, there was a huge difference. And then I came here, and it's a sign that I probably should live in a brighter, sunnier country. So I'm all fine now with that. But with the ring, I thought, well, if that continues, even with me taking vitamin D, this ring might be able to help me notice if I am burning the candle at both ends or if I am overtraining, because I wasn't sure. I felt fine, but I guess you never know. So got the ring, and the ring links with the app, and then it tells the app your average temperature through the night. So I didn't need to get up in the morning and do my temperature. I just get up in the morning, and when I remember, I'll connect my ring, go on the ring app, and then connect it to the natural cycle apps, and my temperature's done. And it starts to tell me if I've got red days, green days, and all that information, so that I can feel confident with my choices in terms to yeah, like not getting pregnant right now. But also, in that off chance if something was to happen, then yeah, we address that situation if it does. But maybe being on the pill all the time would stop that from ever happening. So it just felt like an easier transition for myself to kind of take. But also the things I want to chat to you about the ring as well is like, if you want to wear a nice watch but you want to still get your steps, you could wear the ring. Or the other thing as well that maybe is a disadvantage with the ring is that you can't really train with it on, like barbell stuff. You could maybe do some machines. Like I kind of just tend to wear it and take it off for any squats, deadlifts, dumbbell holding things, because it'll get really, really scratched. And you probably would need to tell it that you're exercising as well, which you do on your watch anyway. Another thing was like the battery life. Like I was a little bit anxious about it because I did have an Apple Watch before, and you had to charge it every night. And I was like, I cannot be bothered charging a ring. Like, how reliable is this ring going to be if it's dying during the night and it's not done my temperature? Like, what will I do? So I spoke to a friend, a guy friend that had one, and he says, Leanne, I just put it on charge when I'm in the shower, because you take your jewelry roll off when you go in the shower anyway. So just put it in when you're in the shower, and you only charge it every kind of 3 days. So me being a bit of a skank, I was like, that's ideal for me. I'll just charge it when I'm in the shower, and then that means I've always kind of got a full charge. So yeah, the battery's good in it. You can still wear nice jewellery. You just maybe not track it in your workouts, but do you need to track your workouts? You know, so it's really good. And then it's been tracking when I walk, and it tracks when I'm out on my bike cycling. It even tracks when I'm doing these podcasts. I've done, like I said, I've done a couple of podcasts that I haven't shared with you guys just because I feel like they haven't been good enough and they've been a bit fucking boring. that yeah, that has said that it's like, are you exercising? And I'm like, no, I've just been recording a podcast, but it must be all the moving, it must be chatting to you, laughing, talking, my heart rate must be up, it must think I'm doing a workout. It tracks when you're doing housework and stuff, it tracks when you're having a nap. So it's really interesting, and they're really coming into a lot more research about women and our fertility, our training around our cycles and stuff. So it's really like, it used to be not looked into that, but now they're really hiring a lot of women researchers. They're all working on the ring now to make the ring even better for women as well. So yeah, it's been really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. And again, with things like this, I would rather have done it for a couple of months before sharing it with you guys. So next up, just like in terms to coming off the pill, um, I was really lucky. I came off my pill and got my first period within the first month. It's really strange though, because I was like, is it going to come? Is it not going to come? Like, not having that pill packet and then have the pill finished to be like, okay, I'm going to get my period in like 2 to 3 days. I felt like I had no clue what was going on with my body. So that felt quite alien and quite unnormal. And again, it was like that me giving away control to my body and knowing what's going on, which I really struggled with. And when I did how when we did the run day around the track a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago now, I had white shorts on. You know what's coming. Basically, it wasn't sure if I was ovulating because it was still figuring out about me. It wasn't sure if my period was due or did I ovulate, did I not ovulate. It was a bit all over the place for the first month because the app takes a while to really get to know your cycle. So I put these cool white shorts on. I thought, oh, this will look badass. And I went to the toilet and literally had just had my period in the white shorts. But luckily, the shorts were absolutely fine. But I was like, oh my God, Joe, can you imagine? We were in the car at the event. It's 20 minutes drive away, and I've had my period in white shorts. Like, what would I even do? But luckily, I caught it, and I had to do that event with a period, which again also makes me feel like such a badass because I did so good at that event and like really surprised myself and proper had some period power. So yeah, it was really hard, but I got my first period, which was great. I've had another cycle and I'm due another as well. I feel coming off the pill, I was absolutely fine, but I've actually had some friends that have felt a bit woozy, a bit off, a bit strange, a bit emotional. I've been really lucky where I've been feeling absolutely fine coming off the pill. And going more natural. I've not noticed many changes with my training or recovery or anything like that. But when I was speaking to my friend last week, he was like, "Oh, Leanne, like how are you feeling?" Because his partner has been feeling lighter mentally, and I was like, "I feel fine actually. I don't feel like anything different has happened." But then when I kind of sat and kind of spoke to him about it, I kind of thought, you know what, like whether it's been moving away or living here, our lifestyle right now, I feel really happy. Not that I was unhappy before, I was always happy and very grateful for the little things, but I just feel more like content and relaxed, and especially maybe around business as well. I feel like with work would always be quite heavy on my shoulders and I'd be thinking about it. I still think about it all the time, but more in a positive way rather than a heavy way. And I think in some ways, when I think about being on the pill, I think certain situations would have bothered me so much more and got me upset and teary and frustrated and annoyed. And I feel like I'm not as emotional around things. But I do think on the other side, there's been other things I have been more emotional about than maybe normal, which is really weird. So I've not had any adverse side effects in terms of mood or noticed a huge difference, but I heard some people have. But I do laugh because me, when I've been saying, yeah, I feel really like saying to Joe, I feel really like lighter, I feel really focused, I feel really driven, I feel really motivated. We went to view an event for his, went to view an event for Joe's event in October. I found an event for us through in Faro. I was like, let's go and see it. And on the day they were doing, they had a dog shelter there just to like promote people adopting dogs and giving them new homes. Oh God, it broke me. Absolutely broke me. So we turned up, we had a bit of lunch, and Joe was like, "Oh, we should go and see the dogs." And I was like, oh, I don't think that's a good thing. And even just sat there, I knew I didn't want to see it. And I know that's really bad, not wanting to see things that you should maybe try and help with or avoiding hard situations, but I just knew it wasn't going to be good for me. But Joe was like, well, maybe we could go and pat the dogs and like give them some happiness for the day because everybody else is avoiding them. And I thought, you know what, everybody else probably is avoiding them like me, so maybe I should go and give them a bit of love and a little cuddle and a little scratch. And I went over and there was this gorgeous dog called Bara, and she was a little blonde thing, and she was so soft and gentle. Honestly, she was lovely, just so chilled. I was just patting her away, and then I looked beside her. There's a little kind of puppy kind of dog, and then there was an older dog here, and then there was a black dog lying down. And I just got up and I was like, I need to go. And I feel emotional talking about it right now, but I just got away and Joe was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No." I was like, just like proper. I'm even bubbling up now thinking about it, but it broke my heart. Like it just was so hard. But we gave some money to the charity, which made us feel a little bit better. But oh my god, I don't know if that's new or different or just because I love animals and dogs and hate to see them not having a home. So I've also, and then I watched Clarkson's Farm, the episode with the pigs. I don't want to ruin it if you've not watched it yet, but it was such a sad episode. Me again, I was crying on the sofa, and I don't feel like I've been like that person before, but maybe I have, and I've just not thought about it before. And you know that way when you do something new, you're like, am I doing that because I came off the pill, or is it just me, just like the way I am with some animals? But the last thing I have noticed is just my skin. I feel like I've always had really good skin, and again, I'm like, there's so many variables, isn't there? You're always like, is it this that's caused it? Is it this that's caused it? This that's caused it? But it's maybe related in some way. But after my first period, it was fine. My second period, I had a big kind of breakout down here on my face, like loads of spots, which never happened, like really painful spots. And then this time, I've got them all up in my temple. And I said to Joe, I'm like, I think it's hormonal because it could be sweat, and I have had summers in Scotland where I've been exercising loads and maybe not washed my face quick enough and I broke out in some spots. But this feels different, especially your jawline. You don't sweat on your jawline, do you? Up here you maybe would. And I was thinking, is it my helmet for my bike? Is it I've been washing my face, so I don't think it is sweat. So I think I've been getting a wee bit more breakouts, which is a little bit annoying, but just something that I just need to be aware of and just make sure I'm cleaning my face more, and putting on my normal face cream, not sun cream, and just kind of see what happens. But that's been twice now where I've had a little breakout in skin. But apart from that, everything else is been a-okay. And I guess it's still really early in the journey. The app is still learning about me. I've still got more red days than green days, which Joe is not happy about. But we've been getting more green days each month, and really understanding my body so much more, and also starting to realise that, like, yeah, maybe I didn't need contraception all that time, but I just wasn't ready for that next move. And some of you might be listening to this like, Leanne, I've been on these natural cycles for years, but that's great, that's awesome. But I just had a wee bit of a trust related issue to it, which is so silly. So yeah, I just thought I'd share this with you guys in case you didn't know about it, or maybe you're exploring it, and similar to me, you're maybe thinking this is maybe the next step, but it's not completely going into here we go, let's kind of have kids, because again, we still don't 100% know what's going on in that department right now. But I thought I'd update you, and I love keeping you guys like in the loop with what we're doing, and sharing this with you guys, because yeah, some of us don't have those friends that we can talk to about with these things. Like, I maybe wouldn't speak to my mum about things like this, but I feel like I can chat to my friends and you guys about stuff like this as well, so it helps me as well. But yeah, just thought I'd share that. And also just to say as well, like, you do get like referrals, so I can always and it gives you guys discounts. I did that for one of my friends. But also, if you get this ring or you look into it, you can get like £50 off through Natural Cycles for the ring, but you do have to pay £50 mailing charge. What's it called? For it to get through. Oh my god, I can't remember the word. Yeah, it's just like a charge when it comes from America. Can't remember what it's called. Head's gone blank. But you have to maybe pay that, which is like £50. So it's like you get £50 off, but you also need to pay 50 for the delivery charge, which is very annoying. Get through customs. Customs is the word. But you might be lucky, like my friend. My friend ordered it and it didn't go through customs. It just came through to her door. I was like, what the hell? You were so lucky. So she got the £50 discount and another discount from me referring her. So you could always do that. Or if you know a friend that has it, message some people about, because you could get a little cheeky discount on it. Just to let you know as well, just in case you've got any other questions, is the ring is £250 in total, I think. And then it's like you pay monthly for the Aura ring, but you also pay monthly for the Natural Cycles, which is quite a lot to some people, but for me it was much better than being on the pill. And me and Joe spoke about it in a relationship, that it's for us to pay, it's not just for me. which is something you can speak to your partner about as well. But if you've got any questions or anything you want to chat about, you know me, I'm an open book. But yeah, hopefully this episode has helped in some way and just updated you with something I've been kind of trying out. So other than that, I hope you guys all have an amazing week, and I'll speak to you all very soon.